To help us kick off this session, it gives me enormous pleasure to welcome the co-founder of Amazing If. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Helen Tupper. Helen, welcome.
Everybody, very excited to be here. Just a quick show of hands, and then I have to go to the lectern because that's where my iPad is. Who has come across the concept of Squiggly Careers before? Just going to see. Okay, ooh, about half the room. That's great. It's not good enough. It's not good enough. In the next 15 minutes, we're going to do a super quick Squiggly summary where the other half of the room, who has not yet heard of Squiggly Careers, will be suitably indoctrinated / empowered to take this forward. And then all of us will go back with some ideas for action to support ourselves in our Squiggly career and to help other people with their career too. So that's my plan. Quite a lot to fit in, but you all seem very eager, or noisy at least. So we'll get started. Let's begin with what is a Squiggly career. So for a really long time, when we've talked about career development, the way that we've sort of defaulted to talking about it has looked and sounded a bit like a ladder or a staircase, where the job for all of us is to start at the bottom of this staircase, and then you're supposed to work hard, and the promise is, if you work hard, you will go up the ladder. And the idea of the ladder is that we're all supposed to be motivated by the same thing. Every single one of us here is supposed to be motivated by the idea of becoming more senior. And success for every single one of us here is supposed to be the same thing, because success on the staircase is all about getting to the top. And there are so many issues with this ladder-like concept for career development. First of all, work is not that predictable or that linear. Average career length, 41 years, so, take stock of where you are today and be excited about the years in front of you. But 41 years. So if the idea is that we're supposed to get promoted every 2 years, that means we've got to have about 20 levels in our organisations. Most organisations do not have 20 levels, and even the ones that do are getting considerably flatter. So even if your career starts quite ladder-like, and mine definitely did, I loved graduate schemes so much, I did 3 of them, until they were like, now you should do some work. Mine did start quite ladder-like, but then you start to realise that if you want to progress, it has to look like more than promotion, and you actually have to take control of that. So that's one big issue with the ladder. The second is this idea that we're all supposed to want the same thing from work. And there's nothing wrong, if anyone's thinking, well, I would quite like to climb the ladder and get to the top. It's not that that's bad, it's just that that's not what everybody wants all of the time. And when we make this one-size-fits-all version of success, it leads to a lot of unhealthy competition in organisations, it leads to a lot of comparison, and it leads to lots of us losing confidence. And that's not good for anybody. So what we are trying to do is get rid of this thing, because it's not helping people, and instead replace it with something a bit more squiggly. Because the idea of a squiggly career is that we can all develop in different directions. Squiggly careers are as individual as you are. Success is not one size fits all. We believe that if you can think about your career development as being squiggly and develop the skills to succeed in a squiggly career, then work can be better for everybody. So I want to introduce you to a few squiggly swaps, which if we start to introduce these in organisations, it means we lose the legacy of the ladder and we just start talking squiggly. So this is quite an easy place to start. First of all, ladder-like language number 1, this idea of steps. The dreaded question, like, what's the next step for you in your career? That's like the ladder all over it. So we just need to get rid of the word step. It's quite simple. Just say moves. What are the moves you're interested in making? Moves can happen in multiple directions. You can also have more than one move. Step is just very singular and kind of just about becoming more senior. Second squiggly swap, titles. When we look at our progression through the lens of our titles, they've always got to sound quite similar and become more senior. But all that does is result in fewer and fewer opportunities. So instead of looking at your progression through the lens of your job titles, start thinking about your progression through the lens of your talents. Who needs what I want to be known for? When I start my career thinking, who needs what I want to be known for, I can identify so many more progression possibilities than I ever can when I look through the lens of my job title. I mean, one of the job titles I held when I was at Microsoft, Director of Audience Evangelism. that job title doesn't take you very far. There's not ones that sound much like similar or more senior than that. So I got much further thinking about my talents than my titles. And then the third one, though I could talk about squiggly swaps all day, the third one is this idea of a plan, the career plan. It's very ladder-like. It says, what we're going to do, when we're going to do it. Instead of plans which fix your future and leave you quite blinkered about your development, think possibilities. What are my possibilities? What are the different directions that I can develop in? So I want to get into the skills with you, the 5 skills to succeed in Squiggly Careers, and focus on 2 of them in the time that I've got with you now. But even if you only remember one thing that I've talked about, the squiggly swaps, if we could just lose this ladder-like language, we will support people much more with the conversations they want to have about their career. So, point number 1. Next thing, let's talk about the skills to succeed in Squiggly Careers. So just because they're squiggly doesn't mean they're easy. Squiggly basically means our careers are full of change and challenge, and that's just a fact. They are ambiguous, they are unpredictable. We can't really take control of our career, to be honest. I think that's a false promise. We can take control of our career development, which is a much more helpful way of focusing your energy. And if you're going to do it, if you're going to try and take control of your career development, there are 5 skills I would suggest starting with. So squiggly skill, number 1, is all about you and your values. Your values are the things that make you you. They're the things that motivate and drive you. So when we understand this about ourselves, it's really at the core of having a career as individual as you are. So for example, my core values are freedom, growth, energy, and achievement. And when I make decisions about my development, I'm always trying to think which one of these options gives me more freedom, growth, energy, and achievement. And even if it doesn't align with what someone else thinks I should do, my manager or my husband or whoever else has an opinion about me and my career, even if it doesn't align with what they think, I know it's the right decision for me because that's what makes me me. So that's values. Second squiggly skill is all about your strengths. And we're going to focus on this a little bit more. Strengths are the things that you want to be known for. And this is a decision you make. No one says to you, you should be known for creativity. You should be known for relationships. It's your career, it's your choice. But if you don't make the choice, you will leave it to chance. So you need to decide what you want to be known for. Because when you build your career around that, you are so much more engaged. Gallup, who are a consultancy organisation in the US, they say that you're 6 times more engaged in your work. I always feel like that's a bit of a weird number. I'm 6 times more engaged. It's quite strange. Basically, you're just more in. You're more in. Think of it like that. When you know what you want to be known for and your career is built on that, you're just more in it. And you're making more of an impact whilst you're there. Third one is confidence. This is a biggie. Because the issue is, if we don't have confidence in ourselves, in our careers, and we're not able to be brave about the discussions we have about our development, then everything else, values and strengths, it's a lot of awareness, but it doesn't go anywhere because the confidence is all about the action. We have to build people's levels of self-belief. If we can do that, if you can cage what we call your confidence gremlins, things like, I don't know enough, or I'm going to get found out, or I'm too old, or I'm too young, or whatever it is that talks you down when you're in that moment, when you really want to big yourself up. If we can cage that stuff, you can go a lot further. And confidence is a skill, which means we can all learn it. Squiggly skill, number 4, is all about networking. Sometimes when I'm doing programs, I'll ask whether people love it or they loathe it, but you're all here, so I imagine you all love it. Everyone here loves networking. You're brilliant at building relationships. Relationships are so important for our squiggly careers. Most of the opportunities for our learning and our growth and our development come through people. They are not advertised on an intranet. So what we need to do is build relationships based on the principle of people helping people. It's not about people knowing people. It doesn't matter how many connections you've got on LinkedIn. Maybe you just like connecting or tapping. Though tap away today. Everyone tap. You've got your badges. But it's more important that you think, how can I help this person? When you build relationships based on how you can help somebody, it creates relationship reciprocity. They're more likely to help you back in the future. It also feels good. There's a concept called the helper's high. Like, people like helping people. So don't think, oh, I've got to build a random set of relationships to support my career. Think, how can I build a community built on people helping people, starting with what I've got to give? It makes a massive difference to how you build relationships. And the last one, which I'm going to focus on, I'm going to do it very quickly because I've got such a short amount of time with you, is future. And in a squiggly career, the skill here is think future possibilities. Not career plans, but future possibilities. What are the different directions I can develop in? So they are the 5 skills. They're not the only things that you need to know, but they are pretty fundamental for squiggly career development. I've got a few minutes left, so I just wanted to dive into strengths and I wanted to dive into future. And for each of those areas, I want to give you a coach yourself question, so you can think about this after today, and a very quick idea for action that you can take away. So let's start with strengths first of all. This is your coach yourself question. What do you want to be known for? Simple question, but it's important. Remember, if you don't make the choice, you leave it to chance. So go away and think, if people were talking about me and I wasn't in the room, what would I want them to say about me? Because you can take control of that, but you have to know it from the start. So what do you want to be known for? Then, once you know that thing you want to be known for, start thinking how you can stretch that strength. So if you want to be known for creativity, for example, think about how you can stretch it in your job today. What could you do differently in the job you're in today? It's called job crafting. Second thing, think about the department that you're in. How could you use that strength to support something that's going on in the department? So it's not your day-to-day, but it's not too far away. It still feels quite close. Third one, think about the company that you're in. Get away from the day-to-day, go outside the department. What could you do differently? Is there an employee resource group? Is there an event? Is there a priority for the year ahead that you could offer your strength to support? And then last but not least, think outside of the company. Could you volunteer? Is there an event like this that you could contribute to support with your strength? I'm a trustee of a charity, and I work with that charity because I believe in what they do, but also because it makes my strength stronger to work with different people in different places. And that's the point. When you start to stretch your strengths, it makes them bigger and it makes them better, and that is what you will build your brand around. So, do some strength stretching. Last but not least, the future bit. The question for you: what moves feel motivating for you? Remember, this is squiggly language, moves, not steps. So what moves feel motivating for you? What different directions could you develop in? Just think about it. Have a conversation about it. You're not like going to leave. You're just being curious about your career. That is what we're trying to unlock, career curiosity. And to help you, 4 different directions that you might want to think about developing in. The first direction is the obvious one. Just because it's obvious doesn't mean it's bad. What's the obvious move? What feels like a sensible squiggle for you based on the things that you've done so far? The thing about these sensible squiggles is that we make a lot of assumptions that they're the right thing for us to do. It will be the right one for you to do if it aligns with what motivates and drives you, your values. Remember I mentioned that? It will be the right squiggle for you to make if it needs what you want to be known for, your strengths. So if you can think about that possibility and go yes and yes, then it's a good one. But if you think about that possibility, the obvious one, you think, no, it doesn't need what I want to be known for, and my values can't be fulfilled here, it's not going to be right for you. It might be perfect on paper, but it's not perfect for you. Second one, the ambitious possibility, the thing that feels interesting, but a bit out of reach. Might be more senior, might be in a different department, could be sideways, could be something dramatically different than what you do today. But get closer to it, because the longer you leave the ambitious possibility, the further it will feel away. Get mentored by somebody who does what you want to do. Just find a way to connect with it. Remember, the longer you leave it, the further it will feel away. The sooner you explore it, the closer it will come. Number 3, the pivot possibility. I've mentioned this one. So we talked about in ladder-like careers, very focused on titles. In squiggly careers, let's think talents. So for your pivot possibilities, think about who needs what I want to be known for. If I want to be known for career development, who needs that? Because when that's my starting point for my squiggle, I can see so many places that I can go, so many different ways that I can grow. And then last but not least, the dream. Don't discount the dream. There is a lot of energy in our dream possibilities, and a lot of people think, oh, I can never do that. But we never really go and explore the reality of the roles, and there are often lots of different ways that we can do them. So I did mine as a side project for 6 years before it became what I do today. And so I had energy, more energy in my day job for Virgin and for Microsoft because I did this on the side. But that was because I'd explored it and I'd found out if it was a good fit for me and whether I was going to be good at it too. So explore the dream possibilities. Sometimes you decide you don't want to do it. Sometimes you find a way to make it work. But it's all about you taking control of your career curiosity and creating opportunities for yourself, not waiting for someone else to do it for you. So That is a super quick, squiggly summary. Gosh, I can't even say it now. If you would like some more support after today, different places that you can go. Squiggly Careers podcast comes out every Tuesday. I know a couple of people listen to it here. We're at episode, I think, 308. Today's episode is on how you can create your career cushion. So if you want some support, it's there and it's free. We have Pod Plus every Thursday. It's a free conversation to support you with your development. So we are here to help, but you've got to take action because no one should care about your career more than you. I will leave it there for now, everybody. Thank you very, very much. Have a brilliant rest of your day.
Ladies and gentlemen, Helen Tupper, thank you very much. Helen, amazing. Short period of time. Thank you very much indeed. Brilliant, wonderful.